Burnett, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I picked up my computer from the Apple store today. It was getting worked on the last couple of days. And now okay, there we go. There we go. My camera's working now.
Okay. All right, let's get started on your motion. We're here on the record in 23 CCR 235301, State of Texas versus Matthew Robertson. We are here on a motion to modify bond conditions. I read it, but please proceed.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor, he was charged with interfering with the 911 call back in last part of August. And essentially, not to go too much into the facts of the case because I haven't received discovery yet. The case just recently got filed. And but it was an incident that took place between he and his father at his parents' home. Father attempted to call 911. It's arguable whether or not Matthew did interfere with the 911 call. But I do know when the police showed up, his father got arrested for felony assault with Matthew being the victim, and Matthew was charged with interfering 911 call. Anyway, Matthew was not charged with any type of violent offense or anything like that. He was placed on bond conditions, which he has abided by. He is no longer living in that home. He has found alternate arrangements for living. But he was given the colors condition where he has to randomly go, call, show up, take a drug test. And it's been an issue because he has an opportunity to obtain employment at the Renaissance Festival, which is in Magnolia. And with him having to call in on Saturday mornings, he won't be able to make it down from Magnolia given traffic. It takes at least 2 hours on it, 2.5 hours on a good day. But with traffic, it's just been, he hasn't been able to work there because he was afraid if his color got called, he wouldn't be able to make it back here in time. So that's why we're asking for that condition to be removed. So he does have the opportunity to go there and work, and his work schedule would be Thursday through Monday.
Okay. Ms. Sparks, has he ever tested positive?
Sorry. Let me pull them up.
I know we're only looking at maybe 2 months of testing. So,
okay. All right.
It's actually, the way it's written is kind of strange, but I've never seen it drafted in that fashion.
And obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know the reason as to why that was added into there. And I can tell you he has tested positive. So he tested positive when he was first being tested. They let him get it out of his system. He went and tested today, and he tested negative.
Okay. Well, Ms. Sparks is kind of looking into this file. State?
If I could ask Miss Burnett, when does the Renaissance Festival end? So
it
when
ends
finished commuting for work?
At the end of November. Like, okay. I don't know the exact date. Let me see. I think it's like November, the last week of November.
So he's going to work there for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's in. And then there's also, but other than that, there would be taking down. So the actual fair ends in November, but there would be other work to get everything cleaned up and removed after that.
And would that take about a week?
I don't know that. Is he on?
He is.
Okay.
Would you like to ask him?
So, like, how long would it take to get everything cleaned up?
It takes 2 to 3 weeks to get everything cleaned up and moved to the next fair. The booth that had offered me employment that I would most likely be able to work with the last 2 weeks also works at the fair that is in Dallas and in Austin as well. And so if I was able to, I would help move the supplies and products up to the next fair for them as well.
Okay.
Also, how often has his color actually been called for him to go in for a test?
Well,
He's,
the bond condition states only once per month. I mean, it's strange the way it's written. It's no alcohol / drugs and random testing at least once per month. So I'm guessing he's been called once per month. So maybe twice, 3 times max.
he tested on the 6th of September. That was the first one where he admitted that he used THC. And then the 15th of September, October the 6th, October the 12th, and October the 19th. Those are all positive. And then today he was negative.
And I believe he's only been called for colors one time. He voluntarily went in and did those other tests.
Well, no, when they test positive, we always have them come back. We'll give them a day to come back. Yeah.
All right, Ms. Chapa.
Based on the previous results, Judge, it's state's position that the condition remain in full effect.
And this offense has nothing to do with the drug offense. All the other conditions I see, I get that, but this one has nothing to do, this offense has nothing to do with drugs.
Why was the drug condition added? I'm just curious, Ms. Chapa.
That, Judge, I do not know.
What if I allowed him to go to a local facility, a local lab, and test at a local lab somewhere up in the Montgomery County area, and then the results could be faxed in to probation? Burnett?
I believe that would work. The other alternative that I was thinking is that instead of random ones, he show up at a certain time. That way he would be able to make arrangements to be in this part of the world when he needs to be. It's that just not knowing and having to drive. That's the main issue.
Is he meeting once a month with a pretrial monitor?
Blake, are you meeting once a month?
Well, I saw Miss Sparks shake her head yes. Go ahead, Miss Sparks.
Yeah. Yes, he has been meeting with Miss Woods.
Once a month?
Mm-hmm. What I was doing, I was trying to read to see what on the offense report maybe had them to put down that he needed to do random drug testing. That's what I was reading.
It appears, Judge, that he has 2 prior POM charges. So that's probably the reason.
And I am aware of those 2 priors. One was 10 years ago. One was 5 years ago. He was given deferred prosecution on both of those. He completed all the terms successfully. In fact, on one of them, the latest one, he was even 5 years ago, he was early terminated. And in order to get an early termination, you have to be a model probationer. There is nothing that I know of that would give me any reason as to why Blake Matthew would not follow all the conditions of any bond. Plus he did all the conditions for both of those. He did everything the way he was supposed to do, everything that the court asked him to do. He served his debt to society.
Ms. Sparks, what were the drugs that he tested positive for?
It was just THC.
Okay, which is still illegal, and one of the conditions is to commit no offense against the laws. Those kind of go hand in hand.
Correct.
Well,
Permission to speak?
Let's let your attorney speak for you, okay?
just also two things. He tested positive and they continue to test him to get it out of his system. There's been no information, and from my understanding, there's a way that they sent the test off to get lab tested, and they each one came back with less and less and less THC. So he was getting off of it. It was getting out of his system. It just took a while. So there's no indication that he has tested, that he has actually had THC since he was released on a PR bond. Also, he was here for a week. He came from Montana, which he works with during seasonal times for Airbnbs, and in Montana, it is legal for them to do it. So he was not necessarily committing any law violations while in Texas.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to modify his bond condition to where the defendant will be drug tested once per month at his meeting with his pretrial monitor. I'll take him off the randoms altogether, but he will continue to be tested.
Okay. Do you want me to submit another order that states that?
I know I wrote it out in a docket entry. That should be sufficient. Ms.
Okay.
Sparks, is that sufficient for you?
Yes.
Very good. All right. Anything further, Ms. Burnett?
Matthew, was there something else after hearing this that you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to bring up that it's recreationally legal in Montana, and so I wasn't breaking any laws by coming back down and failing a drug test 5 or 7 days after being in a state where it's not against the law.
Okay. Ms. Burnett, you and your client are free to go.
All right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monks. Is your client there with you?
He is. I didn't bring him in because I was doing some work in my office, but can I go get him real quick?
That'll be fine.
Thank you very much. Dominic? Your Honor, are y'all still using Zoom month or not?
We still use it weekly.
I just didn't know because, you know, some of the county criminal courts here aren't using it. Some are. Would you give Mr. Dominic, please? And so I'm glad we could do this.
I still make it available on certain dockets. Not every docket, but on certain dockets, we use Zoom.
Sure. Dominic, would you come over here and sit in that chair and move it up so the judge can see you?
All right, we're on the record in 23 CCR 232617, State of Texas versus Dominique Davis. All right, we're here on a motion to reinstate. Mr. Monks,
May it please the court?
proceed.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. My brother, Pat, appeared in September in your court, and he had received instructions that they were going to follow your standard criminal docket control order. And unfortunately, he looked at the entry that indicated that the compliance hearing the next date would be the 16th of November. And so he failed to, we didn't get the notice or did not show for the appearance on October the 4th or something around that date. My client had no knowledge of that. He was going on the docket control order. And so obviously it's our fault. He's here with me now. He has already cleared up his driver's license. This is a driving with suspended license case. So he's got everything in order, and I think that we ought to be able to resolve it with the district attorney's office fairly quickly.
I'll grant your motion, Mr. Monks. I'm going to put you back on the docket control order schedule. Your next date would be February 1st, but since he's already got his license cleared up, I'm guessing that you'll be able to resolve this case very quickly with the DA's office.
Your Honor, in a blink of an eye.
I bet so. All right.
Take care of you, and thank you for your kindness.
You're very welcome. Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, sir. You take care.
Take care.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Miss Booker. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Oh, doing well. We are on the record in 22 CCR 227973, State of Texas versus Kia Bird. Miss Booker, why don't you give me an update?
We are working towards getting a dismissal. She has a couple of classes to take. She's completed one, and she's just waiting on funds to pay for the second class. And the prosecutor's aware. I sent him the certificate of completion so far.
Do you think she'll wrap it up before her next setting on February 1st?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Very good then. Thank you for the update. You and your client are free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierce. Doing a little shopping today?
I apologize, Judge. I did not know how much time I had. Please forgive me.
It's okay. All right, we're on the record at 22 CCR 226835, State of Texas versus Brandon Flores. We're here for a status conference. So, Mr. Pierce, give me an update on the case.
Yes, Your Honor. I was anticipating getting a mitigation package at the DA's office. Looks like that has not panned out. Otherwise, all evidentiary matters are taken care of, and I anticipate we should have a resolution on the next setting in person.
You have resolution when now? I'm sorry.
On our next pretrial conference for the in-person setting, Your Honor.
You can resolve this case prior to your pretrial conference by contacting my coordinator and setting it for a plea date, potentially. You are
okay, Your Honor. I'll certainly make use of that. I need to speak with my client now and get to that final answer, though. But I anticipate that'll be the option we're looking at.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Mr. Pierce.
Yes, I anticipate that I'll be contacting you for a plea date. I just need to speak with my client.
All right. Very good. Thank you for the update. You can get back to your Christmas shopping.
Thank you, Your Honor. My apologies.
That's all right. Mr. Bryant, you there?
Yes, sir, Judge. I'm here.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Very good. All right, let's get started. We're on the record in 22 CCR 228335, State of Texas versus Jasmine Willis. Mr. Bryant, why don't you give me an update on the case?
Judge, right now, I've gone through some factual evidence with the client, talking with her about the proposed possible offer that was already given, getting ready to go through additional information that I have from a witness, as well as the discs and information I got for us immediately. We haven't gone through all of that, but I do anticipate us coming to an agreement on this by the next setting.
Steve, when is your next setting? February 1st.
Yes,
well,
sir.
You can always contact my coordinator and schedule it for a plea well before then.
Oh, okay. Because I think we may be very close, maybe before the end of this year.
Well, perfect. You can contact Sarah and she can put you on a plea docket. Mr. Bryant, you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything further, Mr. Bryant?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
All right. You're free to go. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I have
All
a
right.
question. Do we present those things to you, and or do I just leave this here now? Is today done?
You're done, Ms. Willis. You're free to go and you can contact your attorney with any questions you may have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oops, sorry.
All right. Let's move on to the next case. Myers, you're free to go, Mr. Bryant.
I don't
Okay,
see
thank you,
him,
Judge.
but I see his other client.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bryant.
Good afternoon, Yana. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Is your client Aristotle Myers going to be joining us?
Yana, to be candid with you, Sarah sent me the link way early this morning. I sent it to Mr. Myers. He did not respond. I texted him maybe 30 minutes ago to let him know that you want him to enter with his first and last name, and he didn't respond.
I have a motion from the state.
Yes, Judge. Statement is for bond forfeiture.
Yana,
Yes, Mr. Bryant.
obviously I'm going to ask you to hold it. I know what you're going to say, but I'm still going to do my job.
I understand. I wouldn't expect anything less. Let me get my bailiff to call his name outside the courtroom door.
Myers, there's not a Myers, there was not a Myers.
Bonds at 259.
Very good. Current bonds at 750. I'm going to raise it to 1500. And Mr. Bryant, I'll hear any arguments that you may have regarding that.
Whew. Well, Yana, I don't know what my client's financial situation is. It is a possibility that he did not receive my text because he didn't have a phone that is working. He did text me from a different number that was on the indigent paperwork, as well as when I was texting him before. So it is a possibility that there is a communication lapse and he's unaware.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Bryant. He did get a copy of the docket control order, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And he knew that today's date, and on that docket control order, which I'm looking at right now, has a QR code that he can easily scan that will take him directly to the Zoom login page.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think he had sufficient notice of today's hearing and the ability to join us on Zoom. I appreciate and understand your argument, but I'm denying the holding of the capias. It's going to be issued immediately. And any prior bond conditions that were in existence will remain in place.
Sounds good, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor. One other thing, Yana, I actually have two clients today. I don't know if I can go back to
Ms.
that.
Torres is next. Just 1 second. All right, we're on the record, 23 CCR 232611, State of Texas versus Veronica Torres. All right, Mr. Bryan, could you give me an update on this case?
Yes, Your Honor. Gavin and I have spoken about it. He made a really fair offer. My client is unable to drive because of medical conditions that she has. I'm just waiting on her to get the medical records that show that she should not be driving per her doctor, to get it over to Gavin and see what he wants to do with the case. So it is on my end. I'm just waiting on her to provide me with that.
Okay. All right. Your next court date will be on February 1st. It's another status via Zoom.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you then. Thank you for the update. You're free to go.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Y'all be blessed.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise.
Good afternoon, Miss Elenise.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 22 CCR 228534, State of Texas versus Jose Bravo. Miss Elenise, you may proceed with an update.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've been speaking to Assistant District Attorney Mr. Scoville, and we are now discussing a plea offer. So I need to relay that and discuss that and consult my client and then get back to Mr. Scoville shortly, probably next week, hopefully before the holidays.
And if you do come to a resolution on that matter, you can contact my coordinator to schedule it for a plea.
We can do that before the next.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so your
Awesome.
next court date's not until February 29th. It's a pretrial conference. So if you're able to resolve it before the holidays, go ahead and call my coordinator, Sarah, and get it on a plea docket.
Sounds good, Judge. Will do.
All right. Very good. You and your client are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
I don't see Mr. Simmons. Oh, there he is.
Good afternoon, Judge Morales. Long time no see.
It has been a while. How are you?
I'm all right.
Very good. All right, we're on the record in 22 CCR 228080, State of Texas versus Tamara Santarufo. Mr. Simmons, can you give the court an update on this case?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm standing in for attorney in record Wayne Heller. He texted me that all discovery's been completed and that we just need to request a trial date, was my understanding.
Oh, she's already got a trial date. Her pretrial is scheduled for February 29th with a jury trial on March 19th.
Okay, perfect. Do we need to sign a reset to that effect?
No, the docket control order has been entered, and she is fully aware of those dates.
Okay. Samara, I'll let Mr. Heller know. I'm sure you already have too, but
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
You may be excused. Have a good one. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you.
Judge, do you want to skip Brandon or do you want to bring him in?
No, let's go ahead and bring in Brandon. I'm going to let him go because his attorney is not going to be here. Mr. Juarez. Mr. Juarez, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your attorney is not going to be here. He is ill. So I'm going to pass your case for now for this setting. Your next docket setting, your next case setting is February 29th. It's a pretrial conference at 9 a.m. You're free to go.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Do it. Okay. Ms. Beecher, are you there?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Just gonna give your client a few more minutes to connect. We're on the record in 22 CCR 228931, State of Texas versus Jorge Diaz Robles. Miss Beecher, if you give me an update on the case.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, if we could confer with Mr. Chapa, we were speaking a little bit earlier to see if we could finalize it.
You're conferring to see if you could finalize a deal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is going to result in a dismissal, so we're just going back and forth with each other on the conditions of it. But we can, it's going to be a dismissal.
Okay. Well, y'all get it resolved. Next court date is February 29th at 9 a.m. Make sure it's resolved by then.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
Your Honor.
Ms. Beecher, you and your client are free to go.
Thank you.
Judge, I see that there is an interpreter in the waiting room, but I didn't get the ISR form. He might have just sent it.
Go ahead and bring him in.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Judge.
Mr. Gomez, please have a seat. Can you tell Mr. Gomez to have a seat, please, Ms. Alvarez?
Señor Gómez, por favor, si se puede sentar.
Okay. All right, we're on the record in 22 CCR 228621, State of Texas versus Christos Perez Gomez.
Estamos en las actas en el caso del estado de Texas versus Christopher Gómez.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get an update from you, Mr. Yavarino. Try to pause every once in a while to allow the interpreter to interpret.
Vamos a tener una actualización del abogado y con pausas para que el intérprete pueda interpretar.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. We have reached an agreement for 15 months probation.
Buenas tardes, señoría. Hemos llegado a un acuerdo de 15 meses de libertad condicional.
We're just going to ask the court to give us a date so we can plea it and get the paperwork in and get everything done.
Solamente le estamos solicitando a la corte que nos dé una fecha para que podamos introducir la declaración e introducir los documentos.
You want it done before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving?
¿Quiere que sea antes de la acción de gracias o después del día de acción de gracias?
After, Your Honor, really good for me.
Después, su señoría, sería bueno para mí.
November 30. Oh, no, never mind. That's a bad date. December 7th at 1:30.
Diciembre 7 a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. We will be there.
Ok, gracias, su señoría. Ahí estaremos.
All right, y'all are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ya se puede retirar. Muchas gracias.
Let's bring in the next interpretation case. Do I have any more Spanish?
No.
Oh. All right. Next case then.
I don't see her attorney.
Move on to the next case after that. Good afternoon, counselor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, let's get started. We're on the record in 22 CCR 228950, state of Texas versus Al Chen. If you give me an update on the case, sir.
Yes, we've communicated with the district attorney, Mr. Conan Scoville, and we have reached a initial agreement about how to dispose of the case. And I've sent all the necessary documents, the evidence documents, to Mr. Scoville, and he has reviewed all those documents.
Is this going to be a plea for a probation or straight time plea?
Well, Your Honor, I think Mr. Scoville would be in a better position to tell you.
Mr. Scoville, what's going on?
Your Honor, this will be a dismissal. Ultimately, we're just waiting on dismissal materials at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, next court date is February 29th for pretrial conference. If your case is dismissed before then, you do not have to appear.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you for the update. You and your client are free to go.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor, and we are so happy to see you again.
And good to see you as well.
Yeah, this I'm not on a cruise. This is I'm now in Frisco, Texas.
Oh,
okay. I really appreciate Mr. Scoville's great help. You were wonderful people. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sure he appreciates that. Thank you, Mr. Tian. You're free to go.
Yes, thank you.
I don't see his client.
Let's find out what's going on. Mr. Williams, good afternoon. Oh, you're muted.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you today?
I'm good. Is your client going to be joining us?
My client, Your Honor, was on for, she unfortunately, she had a plane to catch at 2, well, it boarded at 3 o'clock, but she was on, Your Honor. She did get on at 2:30, and I don't know if the coordinator can verify that she was signed on. But she did tell me, she said, you know, I got a plane to catch at 3. I said, okay. I said, well, you know, I said, I'll tell the judge if we don't get on in time. But I said, you know, we have the hearing until he sees us. We have worked out a deal with the prosecutor for, she was accepted into the retail theft diversion program, and she's going to pay the fee in attempt to enter into the program.
Do you have a motion from the state?
Judge, Sarah, is there any way we can confirm that she was in the room? I mean, Mr. Lorenzo Williams has always been very straightforward and honest with me. So
I'm not disagreeing with the fact that I'm not saying he's misrepresenting anything whatsoever. It's just his client. I mean, if this was an in-person hearing, his client would be expected to be here. And that these are treated just like any in-person hearing. So the fact that she had a flight at 3 o'clock, she should have rescheduled it until her matter was taken care of. I mean, she knew she had a court setting months ago, or I would say months ago, and back in, well, yeah, months ago, back in June.
As such,
I'll hold the capias.
right.
Here's what
State
I'll
would
do.
do it for
We'll do a bond
forfeiture.
forfeiture. I'll hold the capias. Where'd your client go, by the way?
She went to Jamaica, Your Honor.
So she's not going to be appearing in my court tomorrow morning. That's for sure.
Well, she gets back. She gets back today. So
Oh, she was in Jamaica and she was on. I see.
A flight coming back from Jamaica, and Your Honor, to be fair, she asked me if I could move the date, but I said, I just told her this may be a little TMI, but I said, look, I have a ton of clients and things to do. I don't like just moving things haphazardly. I was like, look, it's on Zoom. Why don't you just Zoom in and then we're good? But she never did. I didn't know what flight time or anything like that. So
that's the great thing about Zoom. You can Zoom from anywhere in the world. And I really don't care where you're at for the most part, unless there's a bond condition saying you can't be out of the state, which she doesn't have that bond condition. All right, let's do this. We'll do a bond forfeiture, hold the capias, and I want her in my court by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then once she shows up and I make a notation in the system withdrawing the forfeiture, she's free to go.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do I have a motion from the state?
Yes, yes, Judge. State moves for bond forfeiture under the conditions that you outlined. State would request new bond be set at $1,500.
Okay. Guy, bailiff, if you would call the name 3 times.
Samantha at 319, Judge.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to hold the capias until noon tomorrow, but I want her in my courtroom at 9 a.m. Once she shows up, I'll make a notation withdrawing the issuing of the capias, and she'll be free to go after that point.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you are free to go. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Miss McCormick or Cormac was in the waiting room. I don't see her now.
Is Mr. Axel in the waiting room?
No, and I sent him a reminder yesterday.
She's not having very good luck with attorneys
She is
showing
not.
up for her case. I tell you, we'll move on to the next one, come right back to her. Good afternoon, Ms. Scott.
Good afternoon.
We're on the record in 23 CCR 232-647 and 646, state of Texas versus Jonathan Lopez. You would give the court an update, please.
So I believe we have we've already worked out an offer for a plea. I think it is a matter of Marissa and I deciding which of the 2 charges they're going to go forward on, because when Michael had the case, Michael and I had already agreed that he's going to drop one and plea on the other. But I don't think we really agreed or narrowed it on which one we're going to keep and which one we're going to dispose of. So Marissa and I, with her being new, have not had a time to have a face-to-face, but the case will still be worked out.
Do we want to go ahead and set it for a plea date?
We could. What's your next available date for a plea?
Tuesday.
Oh, that's probably too soon.
Well, The following week after that, I am in a certification hearing with Mr. Elliott, so it will
Yes.
probably be, which I believe you're joining us, Ms. Scott.
I believe so, yes.
So how about December 7th at 1:30?
That works for me.
All right, you are scheduled for December 7th at 1:30 p.m. for a plea.
All right, we will see you then.
I will see you then. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Bye-bye.
Do I leave? Is that it?
You're free to go.
I don't see anybody for number 19.
Move on to the next one.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Green. We're on the record in 23 CCR 232-684, State of Texas versus Karen Livry.
Livere, if you have the French pronunciation, Judge.
Livre, okay, all right. Well, I was close. Why don't you give me an update on the case?
Yes, Judge. We've been in contact with Mr. Scoville on this case. We are having Ms. Livere complete some counseling for an eventual plea in this case. Likely a deferred plea, I believe, was the offer. But we just got to get that counseling records to Mr. Scoville.
You want to go ahead and set it for a plea 3 weeks out or something like that?
If we can keep the status, the next status, Judge, and then contact the court whenever we're ready, just make sure. I don't want to box in Ms. Livere as far as scheduling with the holidays coming up with the counseling.
Okay. All right. Next setting's on February 1st. If you resolve it before then, contact Sarah for a date.
Understood, Judge.
All right. Thank you for the update. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's move to Jenkins. Is Mr. Jenkins not here? Or is he in person?
I do not see in the waiting room.
Mr. Hecker? Mr. Hecker, are you there?
Here we are. How are you, Judge?
I'm good. Mr. Hecker, will your client be joining us?
Well, it appears not. I went to the second floor and she wasn't there. We're going to try to get in touch with her. We had a possible plea, but we're going to have to find her and see what happened to her.
Okay. Do I have a motion from the state?
Your Honor, state moves for bond forfeiture.
Bailiff?
It's no answer at 326.
All right, Mr. Hecker, I'm setting bond at $2,000. The current bond was $1,000. Once you find your client, contact the court, file a motion to reinstate, and we can talk about it at that point in time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're free to go.
Bye-bye.
Move on. Rodriguez next.
I don't see Mr. Torres.
Okay. Move to Atkins. Colin, can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Say something again.
Good afternoon.
There we go. All right.
Okay.
We're on the record in 23 CCR 232-648, State of Texas versus Michelle Atkins. Go ahead and give me an update on the case.
Sure. So we did get just got an offer on the case, so I do need to communicate that to my client. Once I talk with her, at that point, I can get back with Ms. Chopper, let her know whether we're going to counter or whether we'll accept.
All right. If you do accept the offer and you need a plea date, just contact my coordinator and she'll give you a date sooner than your next setting, which is on February 1st.
Sure. Okay.
All right. All right, Mr. Cohen, happy Thanksgiving. Free to go.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you all as well. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good day.
All right. Tevin Thomas next.
Mr. Serrano is in person.
Nicholas Toronto. Okay.
Yes.
He can go into the room.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. Nicholas Toronto, present.
Good afternoon, counselor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You can have a seat. All right, we're on the record in 23 CCR 232-699, State of Texas versus Tevin Thomas. Mr. Serrano, would you give the court an update on this case?
Yes, Your Honor. I've recently been appointed on this case. This is my first appearance. I'm hoping for a chance to review discovery with my client and any plea deal with the DA. I promise to move this case quickly.
Okay. Your next setting will be on February 1st. It's another status conference, so it's another Zoom hearing. Hopefully you can kind of get an idea of where this case is headed by then.
Yes, Your Honor. I promise efficiency, and thank you.
All right.
Yes. On that note, a quick clarification. I believe this defendant was set for another discovery compliance hearing on December 20th. Is that accurate? Because when I look at Odyssey, when I last looked at Odyssey.
That is correct. Yes.
I have no problem keeping that arrangement as Mr. Serrano is in need of discovery. I reached out to him, sent him part of it. He does need to make an account for Polaris for the rest of media to be shared with him. But if we would like to keep that date, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, Mr. Serrano, we're going to keep that date. So thank you for bringing that up, Mr. O'Brien. So, Mr. Serrano, we have a discovery compliance hearing on December 20th at 1:30 p.m. It's an in-person docket, so you and your client will expect it to be there, unless, of course, you fill out and complete the discovery log, and the state has provided you all the discovery well before then, and you get that log turned in, then you and your client would not have to appear.
Wonderful. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You and your client are free to go. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks again.
You have one more case, actually. Don't leave.
I'll stay put. My client is here live as well.
Right, he can come in.
Nice and respectful. Nice and clear when we talk to the judge.
Yes.
All right, we're on the record 23 CCR 23491, State of Texas versus Norma Medrano. Go ahead and give me an update.
Yes, Your Honor. With this case, I've been in communication with the DA, and I should have the discs available now for discovery. I'll be sure to have those reviewed, and I believe we have an offer in this case as well. So I'll review that with my client swiftly and hopefully gain resolution in this case.
All right. Thank you for the update, Mr. Saranto. You and your client are free to go. Happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise, Your Honor, and thank you.
Thanks. We're on the record in 23 CCR 232-564, State of Texas versus Montreal Banks. Ms. Armio, if you'd give me an update on this case.
Your Honor, we've received an offer from the state and we just need a brief reset to discuss it with the client.
Well, you've got some time. Your next court setting is on February 1st. It's another status hearing, so it's via Zoom. But of course, if you come to a resolution before then, you can contact the court coordinator and she'll give you a plea date.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Appreciate the update. You and your client are free to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Client's audio is still connecting. We'll give him a minute. All right, we're on the record in 23 CCR 232-537, State of Texas versus John Jopio. Mr. Bennett, give me an update.
Judge, Mr. Scoville has been very diligent and very prompt about getting us our discovery. We've got that. We've got an offer of probation. I intend to put a packet together for the prosecutors to consider getting into a diversion program. I just got out of a 3-week murder trial the day before yesterday, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I expect that we'll be, by the time we come back to court, I think the next date's in February, we'll know where we're going.
All right. Well, you've got some time to get some things figured out. So February 1st, your next court setting. We'll see you then.
Very good. Y'all have a good holiday. Good night.
You're the same. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, Perez, I believe they're in person.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. We're on the record in 23 CCR 233106, State of Texas versus Christopher Perez. Counselor, give me an update on the case.
I'm in communication with the state, Gavin. We're just trying to finalize a deferred adjudication offer. Once we get that done, we'll put it together so my client can plead.
Well, once you've got that resolved or you've come to a agreement, just contact Sarah, my coordinator, and she'll give you a plea date.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Thank you for the update. You and your client are free to go.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go back through the dockets for those that we missed. H2. Williams. I don't see the attorney.
Somebody is subbing for them.
Subbing. All right, we're on the record in 22 CCR 228777, State of Texas versus Tatiana Williams. Mr. Holness, could you give me an update on the case?
Yes, how you doing, Your Honor? So far we are still, I guess, in communication with the state, trying to see if we can I guess, get one last, offer that may be favorable to the client. But, if that doesn't go according to plan, then, we're ready to move forward.
Okay. So I assume DWI court's out of the question at this point.
Well, so yes, we applied for DWI court and got an evaluation. However, we were denied. So currently we're trying to see if there's a possible appeal process that we can go through. Not sure, what the results will be with that, but that's kind of the last stand of where we are in trying to get our client into that.
Okay. Next setting is February 29th. It's a pretrial conference. Trial will be on March 19th.
Okay. February 29th?
February 29th. You've got some time to continue your negotiations and come to a resolution. If not, we'll see you then.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Torres, we're on the record in 23 CCR 232-556, State of Texas versus Joe Rodriguez. Go ahead and give me an update on the case.
Sure, Judge. So I have all the discovery. I finished watching the video that the state provided yesterday. I emailed Mr. Rodriguez late yesterday evening, but we have not had a chance to kind of discuss things once I've kind of reviewed all the evidence. He does appear to be Safe Start eligible. So I think after I explain that program to him, I think that's probably the direction we're going to go in.
Okay. Next setting is on February 1st for another status conference. So hopefully you can get him resolved or get him entered into the Safe Start program before then.
Yes, sir. And Gavin or Colin, don't remember, I'm sorry, guys, which one it's assigned to?
It's me, Ross. Sorry for cutting you off on the phone there a second ago, by the way.
No. And Judge, I'm sorry, I'd be wearing a tie, but I was about to head to the juvenile detention when I looked down on my calendar and saw I had this with you, and my apologies. I'm usually, it's been a busy day.
You're usually prompt and on time every time. So it's okay. It happens to everybody.
Yeah. Gavin, does he appear to be, I don't know if you have his file in front of him. Does he appear to be Safe Start eligible as far as you know?
Yes, Ross, if I can recall correctly, that was an offer that was made, was Safe Start.
Okay.
I sent you an email on September 13th with that.
Okay.
Should we get a TRAS scheduled?
The next step. I mean, we'll talk to your client first if that's something that he wants to do. I mean, before you go ahead and make those.
Okay, and just shoot your email?
Of course.
Okay, will do, Judge.
All right, very good. Thank you. You're free to
Thank
go.
you very much. Bye-bye. You as well.
All right, what case is Mr. DeLeaf on?
He is here on, I got an email that he's here on number 19.
Okay, Hassan, but we don't have Mr. Hassan unless he's in the courtroom. Mr. DeLeaf, good afternoon. Mr. DeLeaf, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Now, Harara Hassan.
Yes, sir.
I know you're filling in for Mr. Usler on this case.
Yes, sir.
Your client's not here.
I just talked to my office. They said he was on Zoom. I can call them real quick. I'm actually in another office. If the court doesn't
I'll give you a chance. Mute yourself. Go ahead and call. Find out where your client's at. He's not in the waiting room. He's not in my courtroom. I don't know where your client's at. So go ahead and mute yourself. Make that phone call. We'll move on to the next case.
Judge, it shouldn't take me more than a few minutes. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Let's move on to the cases and defendants who are not here. Paris Comic. I feel really bad for her because she was here earlier. She has shown up to every court setting. Her attorneys have yet to appear at a court setting, but she's not here now. State.
Your Honor, given the situation, I actually emailed Mr. Axel just a little bit ago. She was in court yesterday. Mr. Axel failed to appear. At this point in time, I hesitate to ask for a bond forfeiture, just given the nature that she's been in every single court setting thus far. At this point in time, I would not ask for a bond forfeiture. I would ask the court, give me the time to reach out and try to get a hold of Mr. Axel so that I can relay the offer that has been sent again, and we can try to find a resolution of this case.
All right. I'll agree with that. I'll let she was here earlier. She left. I don't know why.
I believe, based on what I overheard yesterday when she was in court, I think she may have been working today. So she may have needed to step out to go back to work. Obviously, if she was here earlier, even more reason to not ask for a bond forfeiture.
Okay. Matters passed until her next setting on February 1st.
Yes, Judge. I'll send Mr. Axel an email just as a reminder.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Hassan has just shown up.
I'm sorry, Judge.
It's all right.
I apologize. I just had to unmute there. I saw him come on.
Okay. We're on the record in 23 CCR 232553, State of Texas versus Harara Hassan. Mr. DeLeaf, can you give the court an update on this case?
Yes, sir, Judge. The prosecutors have provided, I spoke to Mr. Usler, the attorney of record. We worked together. The prosecutors have provided us video. They provided us the other evidence. We've actually reviewed it. We've sat down with the client. We've gone through all our evidence on the case. We've told him our opinions of the case and what we should do. The only thing we have left is because of, I mean, as the court knows and Harris County knows, that there is a deferred that he's currently on out of Harris County. We need to check. He's been admonished in Harris County, is my understanding. We need to check with the court in Harris County to see if we take a plea in this case, if that will violate his deferred, if they're looking to do a motion to adjudicate or not. As soon as we have that answer, we'll be ready to proceed with some sort of resolution on your case.
And Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Mr. DeLeaf, I actually spoke with the Harris County Probation Office yesterday, and then I spoke with the District Attorney's Office today. Obviously, I would ask you verify it with their office yourself. That way you're not getting the information secondhand from me. Based upon the information I received from their office, they were not going to move forward with a MAG. Again, verify that on your end. But that was the information that came straight from the district attorney I spoke with this morning.
Judge, I would have to agree with Ms. Scoville that that information is probably correct, knowing the court that he is in Harris County. That court, I believe the information that I was just provided is correct. We'll verify it this week coming up, if that's okay with the court, and we'll move towards resolution of the case.
Okay. Go verify it. Once you have verified that statement, call my coordinator to schedule it for a plea.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Toller, I'll send you an email as soon as we have it verified this week.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you, Judge.
very good.
May we be excused?
You're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. We have a small issue that needs to be addressed before we leave. I got an email from Ms. Sparks that the plea we took earlier on Begay, that she, let's see, I'm going to make sure I read this correctly, resides in Arizona, and per the Interstate Compact Act, she is not eligible for transfer to Arizona with her probation. So the only probation she could have at this point in time is a mail-in probation.
Your Honor, that is news to me. The individual that I've been in communication with has told me Nevada. I did not know about the Arizona residency.
Her and her attorney, and that was her mother that was with her. They drove over from Arizona. So I was like, once you get over to the office, so I had contacted the indirect clerk. And I told her what the charge was. And because of it's a DWI, the first, it's not eligible. So the only thing she'll be able to do is we have to have a addendum that should be able to mail in a web report.
Mr. Scoville, why don't you think about that? Think about what you would like to do in this situation.
This is a novel situation for me, Judge. I'm going to, I may have to pick Xavier's brain on this. And then I'll get back to Ms. Sparks as soon as humanly possible. And then I'll try to figure out exactly what our office needs to do to correct this situation.
Okay. Well, she's at the office now because they had just texted me and asked me had I gave the addendum to judge yet. So
okay.
You might want to walk down there right now, have the conversation. I'll be here until about 4:45 or 5 o'clock. So feel free to come find me.
Yes, Judge. I'll go find Xavier right now, and then I'll come to your office as soon as possible.
Very good.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Y'all are free to go.
I'll be in the courtroom, Colin.
Sounds good, Michelle. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Judge. Y'all have a good, happy Thanksgiving.
Well, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.
I won't be here, Judge. I will be out. I'm taking my girlfriend to New Orleans for her birthday. So.
Oh, well, isn't that nice, Colin? I mean, Gavin.
It's nice for me too, Michelle. Thank you.
I will not be here. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, Gavin.
I'll see everyone tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You too, guys.
All right.